Corral Technologies, what we're basically building is an invisible fence for dogs, but for cows, except you don't need to bury any wires underground. Basically draw a fence on your phone, tablet, or computer. We take those coordinate points for the fence, send it down to a collar that the cow wears, and that collar then contains that cow inside of that boundary, moves them from pasture to pasture, and tracks data on that cow. The idea initially kind of started with myself and worried about, all right, how do I stop myself from having to go do a bunch of fencing work all the time? And now as we've grown, instead of going from, all right, you're basically ranch hand, go do what you have to, go fix this fence, build that fence, it started going into the actual economics, understanding the business side of ranching and saying, okay, by moving these cows around more and by containing them in smaller pastures, we're able to increase that utilization and therefore profitability for producers so they can continue ranching on their operations and make sure that they're profitable out there and that we can keep ranchers ranching is very important. So the training process takes about 7 to 14 days. It's going to depend on quite a few varieties, whether it's your forage availability out there in the pasture or your breed or just how your cows are in general. But we're looking at 7 to 14 days for that training period. The basics of it, you're going to put them in a smaller pasture. You might have to subdivide a current pasture that you have with temporary fence. You're going to draw a boundary right on that fence, and then you're going to be able to see, okay, give those cows 2 or 3 days, back it off a little bit. You can use that location history and grazing distribution to see how they're reacting to it. Are they staying within the boundary or not at all? And then from there, we can keep backing it off until we get about 2/3 of the pasture or a third of the pasture cut off, see how they're doing. And if they're doing well, we can go ahead and kick them out to their first pasture and send them out in the field. So the system uses a variation of beeps and shocks to keep those cows contained. There's a warning zone that when those cows start going towards that pasture boundary you draw, they'll start getting sound, so it'll beep on one side or the other, depending on what direction they're going. And using those beeps, we can turn them one way or the other. And if they keep going, they'll get sound and shock. But after that training period, by using the system, they'll figure out that sound means they're gonna get zapped and actually start listening to just the sound itself. So we get every cow's location, so you can see it pretty much real time, within 30 minutes to an hour of where those cows last were. You'll be able to see where they're at. You'll also be able to see a heat map of where those cows have and have not spent as much time or grazed. There's a lot of other data pieces we're building in right now. Obviously we want to get into more of the health side, so like cow calving and heat, sick, and then also on the pasture health side, how many pounds of forage is that pasture going to be producing? What's your stocking rate? How many cow days are you getting out of that pasture? And everything like that. Nebraska is a great place to build, I think, an ag tech company. There is a wide variety of different products out there that I think are being built but also produced in Nebraska. And I mean, looking at the cow-calf industry specifically for us, that's our #1 market. Those are those customers we want to serve. So making sure that we are in a state with a lot of cow-calf operations is key for us. Kind of a variety of I guess, situations and opportunities for us to make sure, hey, are we building this system efficiently enough for customers in Iowa or Kentucky, but also can we go to Montana or these other places and still operate the system? It's a great testing ground for us, but also I think a great support system from producers across the state.